Here are the low beams, factory high beams. So here are the low beams. Those are the high beams. I'm impressed, guys. I wished I'd have went this way with the Lasfits a long time ago. So a few weeks ago, a company named Lasfit asked if we wanted to do a video on some H11 low beam LED headlights. And I had heard of Lasfit. I've had a lot of people recommend Lasfit lights to me. And the main talking point was a 2-year warranty and good customer service. And they just loved the bulbs and thought I would like them if I ever tried them. And I'm like, no, I spent a bunch of money a long time ago on some LED bulbs and I wasn't crazy about them. I actually pulled them out and gave them away. But after everybody had recommended and then Lasfit offered to sponsor a set and send them out, I thought, you know, what would it hurt to give them a try? So I tried them. I've had them in here about 2 weeks. I like them. I like them a lot. If I would not have liked them, I wouldn't be doing a second video and doing the high beams. That's what we're going to do tonight, the 9005 high beams. Now, when I tried the other LEDs and even the halogen high beams have always done good. You know, I've never had a problem with the high beams. It's the low beams that I wasn't crazy about. And a lot of it I felt like was in the projectors, not the bulb itself, but in the projectors. So that being said, I've tried quite a few different bulbs and I am liking the Lasfit low beams the best. But now we're going to try the 9005s and the high beams, and I'll show you how to install those and we'll go check them out and see what we think. Now this is the Lasfit LS Plus 9005 LED bulbs. Now they do have a 2-year warranty. It says right on the box, 6,000, a 6K color. And we'll go ahead and get these things opened up. And there are some more specs, but I'd rather read them directly off the paper versus trying to remember it all. So you do have the instructions, installation instructions, and yes, it does matter because I don't know, I didn't know this the first time I messed with LED bulbs, but I learned it shortly after, that your chips, the actual diode, the chips, need to be at 9 and 3, pointing directly away from each other like a horizon. If you put them in and they're all catty-cornered, the lights are not going to hit the road right. So on here, it says these are 13,000 lumens a set, 6,500 lumens per bulb, the 6,000K color temperature. Waterproof is IP67. The lighting source is a CSP flip chip. Built-in driver, high efficiency hydraulic fan. And that is one thing I noticed about the low beams. The other LEDs that I put in, which a couple of them were just cheap Amazons and one was a high dollar set of name brands, the fans were ridiculously loud. It sounded like a jet airplane stuck in the mud when you turn the headlights on. These are so quiet I can't hardly hear them. So we'll check that out. Maybe when we put all 4 in, they may be a little bit louder, but so far I'm really impressed with how quiet the fan is. Go ahead and get these out of the way. It did come with some new rubber O-rings to go around the bulbs if you did have to take them in and out, I guess. And then this is the module, the driver that it was talking about. And let's see if we can get one of the bulbs out of here. Big, thick wiring. I like that. So what I was talking about, when you put these in, you don't want to put them in and have them all catty-cornered. And they need to be straight. Now, you may wonder, well, how does that even work? If you put it in and it clicks in, isn't that where it's going to be? It's not, because you can actually turn it and clock it the way you need it. So let's say you put it in like that, you can actually, it's kind of tight, but you can actually turn it to get these straight up and down. And the way that I judge whether or not it's straight up and down is that wire hanging straight out of the bottom. So when you click, you push it in and you click it, if that wire comes out over here, well, you need to clock it back and get that completely straight. And if you don't, like I say, your light is not going to hit the road, or it's not going to be as efficient as it would be if you're straight out. Anyways, there's the fan. I did get the caps back on the low beams. I wasn't sure if I would be able to do that or not, but these feel like quality made. They're not light, they're not cheap. I don't know if that means anything with headlights or not, but the other set that I had, the original first LEDs I ever put in here, had the tab on both sides so you could plug them in either way. I put them all 4 in at one time and I turned them on, one worked out of the 4. The reason for that is by it not being directional and the tab being on both sides, you could turn them around, and if you plug an LED light in backwards, it will not work. Just for reference, the top are already the Lasfit H11s. The bottom lights are the high beams. They're the halogen 9005s. This is the driver's side, and you can see the caps right here. The low beam, the one way down in there, is the high beam. I probably can't get my arm through there, but no, I gotta go to the outside. So move our flashlight right here. And then you'll turn that counterclockwise. And it'll come loose. The hard part is not getting these off, it's getting them back on. Now when you look at the back side of these, see the arrow right there? The arrow points down and it says down on it, so if you try to put it in any other way, it's not going to work. The next thing is, you see the halogen bulb down there, we're going to unplug it, and that's simple enough. You just lift the clip and press down and the plug will come off. Hopefully I can get it somewhat on video for you, but it's pretty deep down in there. So once we get to it, we'll lift that plug, press down, it will unplug, lay it to the side, twist the light bulb counterclockwise, and there it is. So now I'm just going to lay this right in there for the time being, and we're going to try to get this guy back in that place. Shouldn't be very hard. And there's the plug. Just kind of push it out of the way for now. Okay. See if I can get the driver down in there, and I don't have a better angle for you guys, but the bulb itself has started in the hole. I'm gonna try to do it this way so maybe you guys can see a little bit. Just push and twist. It's pretty simple. Really simple stuff. Now, that being said, that wire, I felt of it, it is coming directly out of the bottom, so it should be clocked perfectly. Now there is to it plugging it up and putting the dust cap back on. This takes just a little bit of patience to do with one hand. If you can get both hands on it, it'd be quick. Now, heard it click. It's all together. Now, I'm gonna take the driver and slide it right inside of the headlight housing there. Not a good way to get. Yeah, slide it right down in the headlight housing and tuck the rest of the wiring in around the back of the bulb. So that's got the wire tucked in to the headlight housing, the module. If you really want to get spiffy, you could put some double-sided tape on that module and stick it inside of the headlight housing, but I'm just going to leave it right like that. Getting the cap back on is kind of challenging. It's not I mean, it's definitely doable, but you just kind of have to work with it. Make sure that arrow's facing down. Get it back over the top of the LED. You kind of have to, if you see that where the frame is, where the plug is, you have to go in behind that, and it's like on the core support. And it wasn't that big a deal. It just took a few minutes of moving around. But the arrow points down on the high beam and the low beam. And if that arrow was not pointing down, I didn't know that at first. I never caught that. And it was really a pain in the butt to get those caps off and on. But once I realized that arrow had to be pointed down, it sped my life up a lot. We're going to turn the low beams on because I don't have a choice but to run the high and low at the same time. And then there are the high beams. Wow. I think I'm going to be as impressed with the high beams as I was with the low beams. Let's move around here and check them out. Yeah, that's definitely awesome. Like it a lot. I'm gonna back it outside now and we can look at it on the door and I'll show you the difference. So these are the H11 low beams. I'll walk up here and stand directly in the center of the truck. And that was a massive improvement over stock. I wished I could cut the low beams off and just show you the high beams, the 9005s alone. So there's the 9005. So we're gonna go back up here to the center of the truck. And that is a major, massive difference. I mean, it's showing up on camera. You've got this big old pattern right here. That's very intense white lighting, you know, just really, really bright and right on it. And then over here on this side, you just kind of got just a little glow. So there's no way I'm not gonna like these just as much as I like the low beams. And that was about the same difference on the low beams. You know, the one on the right just looked like it was barely burning, and this one over here was so intense it hurt your eyes if you look at it long enough. And that's on that white door. I have not had one person blink their lights at me or anything like that with the low beams in, and I have driven from here to Indiana up to Florida. I've probably put about 3,000 miles on the truck with them in there. Not one single person has bright lighted me or flickered their lights at me or anything like that. And I ran with another driver and he said, man, you could actually stand to turn them up a little bit, but I see good with them, so I'm gonna leave them alone. The passenger side is really not much different than the driver's side. The only thing is we do need to unhook the grounds on the battery, this one and the one over there. And then we'll take this 5/16, we'll loosen it, we'll unclip pull the lock back and push the button right here and pull the mass airflow sensor off. And the reason that's why you want to unhook the batteries, because you don't want to unplug this and have a code when you get done. And then that actual air box itself just pops into a couple of rubber grommets, and we'll go ahead and get this out of the way. I'm not going to unhook my batteries, but I recommend it. So just wiggle back on the mass airflow plug, put it back here. If you have a stock air intake, it's going to be basically the same, except for you'll have two clips right down in here that you'll unclip, and they hold the wiring harnesses. It's that clip right there, and there's another one right down in here somewhere that clips into the back side of the harness right there. So it's this line and the mass airflow plug itself. Then let's see. Open this, loosen it up. Pull that out, and then, well, it may take two hands. Once you take this pipe out, just grab here, pull it loose, and just take the whole air box out at one time. Now when I pop the air box out, it came out these two rubber grommets right here. There are two small pins or tabs that go through those rubber grommets, and the hardest part about this is lining that back up when you go to put it back in. The last time it fell right in place. I don't really see that happening again. So after that, you get right in here with a trim removal tool. I prefer the metal one. I have both because there's sometimes you're working on stuff that you just got to be a little more gentle with, and I have both, but it really doesn't matter to me which one I use on this stuff. Oh, there's another one right here. Flashlight's not really doing justice right now, but could have positioned it a little better. There. Now all these are out of the way, we can get to that bottom cap. So we're just going to reach right in here like this, turn it counterclockwise, pull the cap off. See that still says down, the arrow right there. Unclip the light, or unplug it, that simple. And then pull that bulb out. I'm going to set that right here. Well, and then, just like with the other one, this one's actually easier to get at than the other one if you have, once you get the air box out of the way. So, find the tabs, find the spot where the tabs go in. The wire is hanging directly straight down, just like we want it. It doesn't look it from the video, but I've checked it with my hands and I've looked at it too, both, and the wire is straight down. Take and put the module inside of the housing here. See the tab there, and the latch is on top right here, so get it lined up straight. Click it together. It's plugged in good. Now we'll just put the rest of that back in the housing. Right like that. Find the down arrow on our cap. Right there. Kind of aggravating to get the cap back in place, but a lot of times it's easier for me to go in with the other hand. I can't see as well when I go in with the other hand, but not like that. So that's all there is to the high beam on the passenger side. Take and push these pins right back in like they came out. Make sure and get them all pushed back in good. Now we're ready to set the air box back in. So here are the 2 pins that go through the rubber grommets, and they're kind of aggravating to line up, but it shouldn't be a big deal. The last time I got lucky and they fell right into place. I doubt that's going to happen this time. And I just did get the cold air intake, so this is my first time putting it back in here. With the stock intake, fell right back into place. That doesn't happen often, but and then there's that. That's how it's done. It's not bad at all. So here we are with the low beams and high beams right here, and like I say, I don't see how I'm not going to like the high beams. I already know I like the low beams. I don't see how I couldn't like the high beams. That's just intense. Y'all remember a while ago earlier the little small pattern that the halogen was putting out? That's crazy. And I do have a mod through BCM programming, BCM tuning, that gives me the all 6 on the front, so I can also turn the fogs on with that. But and I don't remember the truck if it did brights and then the lows, then the brights, or if it did all 4 or how it did. But in case anybody's wondering how all 4 or all 6 come on at one time, that's their BCM programming through BT Diesel works. Now these are the fogs, the halogen fogs. One thing about the Lasfits I've noticed is when you turn them on, they're instant. They don't have any lag to them whatsoever. Oh wow. Yep, there's the highs. These are the low beams. There are the high beams. So here are the low beams. Those are the high beams. So we're on a dirt road not too far from my house, and just riding along, trying out the new headlights and stuff. These are the H11 low beams, and they're way better than the halogens I had in here. And when you turn the high beams on, it's like turning on a freaking light bar. The camera's just not doing it justice. I apologize about that rattling around. There was a bottle loose in the door and I didn't catch it till editing, rattling around in that last clip. But since I put these headlights in, it's been about 2 weeks. I've driven from my house in Tennessee up to Kentucky, from Kentucky to northern Indiana up close to the Michigan state line, back diagonally across the country out to Santee, California, out close to San Diego, and then I drove up to Las Vegas and back home. Now, when you get out west, you have a lot more call for your high beam headlights out in the desert where there's nothing out there and you need to be able to see as far out as you can, and I loved them. Massive improvement over stock high beam headlights. And still the H11s are a massive improvement over the halogen lights. So loving the setup all the way around. Thank you so much to Lasfit for sponsoring these 2 videos. Hopefully they'll sponsor another one where I can get a set of fog lights. And don't forget to check for the link in the description for you guys to get it's a discount code for you guys to save some money if you're thinking about going this way. And if you'd like to see a sneak peek of any of my videos and exclusive videos, don't forget to check out my membership site. And that's about all I got. Thank you so much for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. I will see you in the next video.